what is transaction sources, and how can we what is the meaning of this transaction sources, and how can we manage it. Okay, so now, so after creating the transaction type, we have to create the transaction source. Why? If we want to generate the invoice number, okay, just like as you remember, when we create the invoice in the part of the accounts payable, we will give the number, we will give the document number, or you can say we will give the invoice number as we have received from the supplier. Okay, but it can be not be done like here. Here we are generating the invoice, so we have to set the numbers from the source point of view. Why? Because suppose we are just assign the number in the application, that if this from this set of numbers the invoice will be created, so the system will allow us to go with with that number will be the last number, that will be the first number. Suppose we have given the number of 1000, so the system will not take anything lesser than the 1000 number. So this is why the transaction source we have to create it. Okay, suppose we here the transaction source is like that we are generating the invoice to our customer. Okay, in the payable section the invoice is generated by the supplier, we just recording the invoice in this application, but here we have to generate the invoice to the customer. Okay, so we will create the transaction source without if your system has already been set up the transaction types. Okay, if you have already done the setup of transaction types, or your client is provided the transaction type already, then you have to create the transaction source related to that transaction type. Okay, so we have to define the name, we have to give the name, we have to assign this source to that transaction type. Okay, so now we will go and create the transaction sources. As you can see here, from the transaction type, under this manage transaction source, we go click on go to task and we create one. Okay,
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content.